Welcome to this episode of DRUID Talks. Today we have a special guest, Martin Kraft, Vice President of EMEA and APAC from DRUID, the AI startup valued at 100 million, which is renowned for its advancements in conversational AI and generative AI. Martin brings a wealth of experience in the field of AI and conversational technologies, and today he'll be sharing insights from his journey and the exciting developments in the world of generative AI. We'll dive into solutions, strategic integrations, and the future of conversational AI in this topic. But let's get started. Let's dive in. Welcome, Martin. Good to see you.
Thanks, Kieran. Thanks for the warm welcome. Thanks for having me. That was a impressive welcome. I sound more important than I
am. Well, you are. So, Martin, can you give us a brief overview of your journey working with conversational AI?
Well, so I'm working generally in the automation or digital transformation space for now 15 years. My last stop before DRUID, I joined in February, so now roughly 6 months here, was with a consulting firm really focused on hyper automation. And as part of that, where we worked for five plus years in this hyper automation space, conversational AI has become way more important from back in the days where it was just the typical FAQ chatbot, but then boom, generative AI came on the scene to be really a technology to be used in so many different products, technologies, a great enhancement catalyst for acceleration of roadmaps, basically. And we figured, hey, there's way more. This can take a more orchestration role, more a conductor role to this complete tech stack, making digital transformation work for companies. And as part of that, I was working, I believe, for 2 years as a partner with DRUID. Got to know the team, the ecosystem around it, and I'll openly admit the team was what got me really interested in DRUID first. Things happened, and now I'm here. We are a force to be reckoned with in the regional market. We have very big logos, enterprise clients, big banks, everything you would expect from a very, very mature and grown-up company.
But generative AI and conversational AI, there are some concerns, Martin, around it. So we should really address, the data security and privacy concerns in generative AI applications. How do we address those? How is DRUID addressing them?
Well, that's actually that's curse and blessing at the same time, I would say. So what I really see in the daily conversations with clients, we do get a lot of attention based on this ChatGPT hype. Everybody is looking into the space now, and I want to get my co-pilot projects done, and it's everywhere. And Microsoft, and we're going to speak, I think, more about Microsoft later on, is doing a great job in educating and opening the market there to really make it a topic everywhere. They're really pushing for it, and they're doing a wonderful job there. But what I see is, especially in the German market, we get the attention, we get into the conversation, but when we hit the point of actually doing something, then we hit exactly this block of concerns, which is data privacy, security, where is stuff hosted, where how is an answer formed, where's the predictability in this, and all quite natural things challenging the way how IT departments, specifically, or procurement departments, were used to handle IT topics. Now you bring a technology which is wonderful and powerful with Gen AI, but where's my if-else connection here? Well, how can I really have an audit trail how this answer was provided? Well, you can't, and people have to get used to it, have to accept that this is a different way of project, different way to deliver projects, to go about projects, and how do we want to go about it? And this is one thing we see now with clients, as I said, a lot of attention, but then we go about okay, let's do something now. And then it's how should we do it? And the whole industry, the whole ecosystem, including the clients, and so really the end users, have to find their ways. And that's a super curious and interesting setup right now. On one hand, you have this very big demand, you have a lot of attention and pull for the topic. On the other hand, you have a lot of skepticism, you have a lot of concerns, and as well unknowns. So quite a scenario full of tension inbuilt in itself, and it's now really part of the team here at DRUID to help our clients to go through this, to guide the way through there. That's of course as well where we need our partners bring their consulting backgrounds and the change management and everything you hire a consultant for into the game to make it work. This make it work. You asked me once what was really luring me into DRUID. It is this making it work attitude. That's what does the product do? It makes AI work. There's a lot of theory. There's a lot of pilots, but if you want to get it done and see results, then DRUID is a wonderful way to really get tangible AI. Maybe that's better than conversational AI. Maybe we do tangible AI. I challenge the term of conversational AI.
We'll create.
Sorry, that was a long monologue.
No, but I like it, because Martin is like this. I've seen too many times people jumping into the technology without thinking about the risks and the consequences and the training and the change management. And I think done right, which is what you're describing, the methods that DRUID employ, means that the long-term success of conversational AI will be there. You won't jump in a hole, get into trouble, and then stop what could be a very valuable program. Would you share with us, Martin, some success stories or case studies where conversational AI solutions have significantly transformed clients' operations or client interactions?
Happy to. That's, I would say, one of the most wonderful things about this job, and as well about being in sales, that you see so many different scenarios, so many different situations of clients and the different worlds and what clients are actually doing. Especially, I can speak again a lot to the German market here, where we have a lot of these Mittelstand champions, smaller companies, right? And they're doing, I don't know, the heating tiles, the heat deflector tiles for space shuttles. And it's a company just 60 kilometers from where I sit. I never knew they exist. But yeah, at the end of the day, somebody has to manufacture these things. You get vacuum pumps working in dryers or whatever. And you say, yeah, I never thought about what it takes to actually get this done, this thing everybody uses every day. So seeing all these different scenarios is one of the most fun things. And I'm always a fan of changing the way how a company performs, really not just cost saving, that's a very good point, but really changing the game in a moving the needle way, not just 0.003 cost savings over the year. So one would be the case with Optegra case is really an exciting one. Optegra is a hospital, a clinic for eye surgeries and eye healthcare. And for us, it was super interesting to get an agent done, which is doing as well outbound, not just reacting to inbound queries and questions and being triggered, but as well doing outbound outreach communications, and that as well voice-based in different languages, in different scenarios, different channels. So quite interesting from the technical setup as well. But the business impact, I think, was, again, what makes it work. The processing cost was estimated to be around £50 per process transaction. And it's now at £1 or £2, worst case £2. So that's quite remarkable cost savings. It is just cost savings, but as well, it's improving the net promoter score from the company, the customer satisfaction of this, or patient satisfaction. I shouldn't say customer in the healthcare context, I'm sorry, but it's improving the patient satisfaction with the overall process and how fast people are getting helped quite tremendously. In terms of pure numbers view, it is just the process run through time. But for the patient, it is the waiting time, right? It is the waiting time until I get my treatment, how fast I get the information I want, the transparency with which I'm treated as part of the process. And everybody has had this experience in a hospital with a doctor where you just sit in the waiting room. And if all this interaction where waiting is part of the game or being informed is part of the game, we can help this, then we're actually making a difference on how people live in the world. And I think this is always super exciting. Another one was in terms of scale. We're working now with this is in the making, with a very, very big global BPO, business process outsourcer, and they call the project language neutralization. That sounds a bit strange, but basically is a globalization tool. It makes it possible that support agents are working for different clients. They're working for always in a native language, by that making the overall customer experience so much better. And we're taking care that all the different messages going back and forth through different systems. So really consolidating this complete tech landscape. And you will hear that tagline from me multiple times, make it work. So basically, we're simplifying the world a bit to make it work better. And that's a super interesting use case. And for me, that's always, as soon as a case is not just cost savings, that's like always a collateral effect we're doing, that the overall process cost drops down. But we are as well impacting different value dimensions. And I think that's the most exciting cases we can deliver, we can bring when we are helping companies to do increase revenue, generate growth, when we can help them to minimize their risk, to achieve better client satisfaction, and by that, a higher loyalty, a higher, again, in scientific or pure economical sense, the value they get out of the interaction from both sides, client and vendor. So whenever we're doing more than just quote unquote cost savings, then I'm very, very happy. And these are the cases making me really excited. That's what I'm searching for out there in the field and with clients, and say, let's look for the exciting use case.
I love your passion there, and I hope that it really is fantastic. You mentioned, NPS and reduce cost, and then freeing of clinical technicians. This is the interesting bit for me for technologies like this. It isn't just one benefit companies get, it's actually lots.
Yeah, I was just thinking of this other case. Quite incredible to see if a client is, so you're talking about passionate about what they can do with our product, that they start building their own products to really go out and sell them. To say, hey, we created an assistant for accounting. There was another client of ours, Liberty Global. They go now to market with this solution. They build their own IP, their knowledge into it on the back of multiple years of using the technology. And now they say, this is so awesome, we have to get money out of this. And I agree, it's a pretty neat, very, very smart solution for accounting there. So what could be better than when our clients start selling our product?
Well, on that one, because we've talked about scalability here, large, small, middle, but how can businesses measure the ROI and the overall impact of implementing conversational AI solutions?
Good point. But then I would love to run off on discussing what is conversational AI, because this field is becoming wider and wider and bigger and bigger. Is it the FAQ chatbot, or is it a AI hub to orchestrate different technologies, right? It's a conversation to be had in itself, but how to measure? Well, I always live and die by 3 value dimensions. The first one would be cost savings. So if you reduce time people are spending, or the amount of people are spending on a given business process, you can reduce that through the use of technology, not necessarily only automation, but technology in general. And that's really I think a generative AI booster to the game. It's not just doing some back office task. It is about providing information faster. It is about getting information already available, contextualized, and by that come to quicker insights with which you trigger, automated or not, different actions. So pure time saving is always a value dimension we have out there. The second one for me is always risk avoidance, because that's just think about the current economical, political environment. Sanction lists are pretty much everywhere right now. And I don't know if you want to get caught in doing business with a wrong party, but this is a impact to your business where we don't speak about saving a few $100K a year, but where we're talking about saving millions and millions because of an infringement of for an example, a sanction list, a sanctioned business relation, or something like that. And the third dimension would be growth, enabling new business models. And it's quite easy to do to measure that, actually. If you're able to interact with your clients in a way you couldn't do before, this enables complete new business models and offerings you can bring to your clients. In the past, we were working with a health insurance where we and who brought out a specific offering which could only live by as little as possibly human-based touch as possible, because it had to be a really cheap offering, wide offering for masses. And that business model was made possible by use of our technology. So going to that offering, every single buck this offering creates is 100% measurable to the success of the implementation of technology, right? So quite easy to measure that. But as well for upselling, we were working with a hotel chain who couldn't take calls during the night shift because lack of staff. And this was not a cost-cutting, head-cutting thing. The staff was not there. They couldn't find people to actually answer the phone calls at night. And now we can say, okay, how many bookings do you have at night? This is revenue, which is just done because we're giving the people a self-service agent to get smart bookings done through a web page to the interaction with the agent. So it is actually quite measurable. But the big challenge I still see with many people is get away from the it's just cost savings thing. And I know I'm repeating myself here, but there's so much more in the world to do than just saving costs. That's again, you can always measure it. Maybe you have to think a bit outside the box, but you will find the measurements. And that will be one of the things we recommend to the clients right at the beginning where we start to say, let's speak about how we measure things. Because we want to deliver a measurable and be accountable for the success we bring.
Yeah, an old boss of mine once said, Martin, you can't cut yourself out of a problem forever, which is maybe playing on what you're saying there. You know, yes, take the cost savings, of course, be hugely operationally efficient. And once you get that into play, now use the technology to drive far more benefits, be it risk, revenue growth, new business models, or whatever else. I sometimes think it's our imagination that limits us, not actually the technology these days. But Martin, what about those companies who haven't yet started their AI or conversational journey? Is it too late? Or what advice would you give them?
No, of course it's not too late. And it's actually not an option to say, oh, I'm going to skip this trend. We're not talking about strange shoes or anything like a fashion trend. You say, nah, that's for the young guys. It is a reality that won't go away, and it's simply a technology as well, generative AI in specific, which had an incredible impact on the whole world, how operations are done. If you're not utilizing it, you should get going fast, because the others are doing it. If you want to stay competitive, if you want to stay relevant in the market, you simply have to do it. It's not an option. But in terms of should you go panic mode, no, of course not. And I see as well, so many companies are giving themselves a really hard time in how they want to get going. I see many organizations looking to develop everything themselves. It's like going back to the medieval times of custom software development, where everything had to be custom developed. But then think of all the good old XSDBs in companies and the Excel scripts. This is then the future. The dear clients, remember this? This is your AI future if you now go to implement all little island Copilot solutions through the complete company. Think about it in the normal way, like you do in an IT project. It has to be platform benefit. You have to have a governance around it. You have to have proper, as you already touched on, the data security model. And this is all off the shelf, not only through DRUID, right? There's many different flavors of AI, just generally speaking, but there are products out there. There are people who do this already for years. I mean, DRUID is around for 6 years. We're not starters in this. And I sometimes wonder how a intern says, I'm working now for 4 weeks. I think I can do better than DRUID. And I say, well, mate, call me in a month, okay? And they call. It is then really always the same, but don't waste time on this, dear organizations out there. Of course, I'm biased as coming from DRUID here, but clear invitation. Have a look around. Look what is off the shelf available. And all the concepts like low code, no code can accelerate your efforts in this AI space as well. And then the second big portion for me is, again, don't look for use cases, look for business cases. Because if you just focus on a use case, you might have a good story to tell, but your CFO is going to say, where's my return? Where's the measurable benefit of this? Why have we done this? And you just say, yeah, well, now it's more convenient to do this and that. So look for the business case behind the use case. And if you have this, like in every project you would start, and if you have these homeworks done, then just get going. I think that's the thing. People are over engineering right now, the meaning of AI and the threat of AI. It is containable. Yes, you shouldn't unlock ChatGPT public version for everyone in the company and encourage everyone to send out the most confidential contracts out there. That's definitely not what you would do. But Microsoft Azure AI, hey, this is a big step forward just to get everything contained. With Druid, we have a complete role model we're implementing. So making sure that only the right people have access to the right prompts and to the right context, and setting this all in context. And there's, for all the different AI flavors, actually a lot of good technology already out there to make it very, as we always say, enterprise ready and as well tangible. So just get going. Don't over-engineer it. Of course, do your homework, do what you have to do, but don't over-engineer it. At the end of the day, it's as well, quote unquote, just technology.
Yeah, and that is it, isn't it? It's applying tech to a business problem. And you never like that knock on the door with the CFO coming in saying, show me the value you promised me. It can be an awkward conversation if you haven't thought up front. My one, Martin, is always, if you're about to do this and it was your money from your own pocket or from your own bank account, would you do it? And you'd be amazed how many, I call them proofs of cost, not proofs of concept or proofs of value, disappear. Martin, where do you see, or where do you envisage the market moving over the next couple of years with the evolution of artificial intelligence? What's going to happen? We need your soothsaying here for the audience, if you don't mind.
I think Gen AI is not in itself the new market or anything, but it's going to touch basically every flavor of technology and making things simply more productive. That's what we see as well. We already implemented it in terms of like the features, and we have plenty of these cases live and out there. And it has been a huge booster to what we can do. But now we embrace Gen AI as well internally in terms of like in the product to get as well the behind the scenes part faster and more flexible. And I think this is going to happen across the board. If you don't have, how can Gen AI improve how people are interacting with my software, and I'm just speaking from the software vendor perspective now, then you have a big problem in your roadmap. It should be a pretty big spot there. The second big part is all the roadmaps and all the technologies should move way faster now. And that's a general phenomena in this AI age we're now living in, where you used to have a 3-year roadmap and a 5-year roadmap this is all gone, right? It's 1 month and 3 months and maybe 6 months, but 6 months is already the long-term roadmap, the strategic roadmap, because you can get so much more done fast. And that's wonderful. That's cool. It's not going to make any development jobs disappear or anything. It's simply moving stuff faster, and the possibilities with that, and as well how we as the users in all the organizations interact with technology will get way more intuitive, I would say. I always explain it as well, like, what are we doing at Druid? You had the DOS prompts back in the days, just after AS400 mainframe application. So green and black back in the days, then white and black in the DOS days. Then you had Windows introducing the user interface, a graphical user interface. Then you had web interface and so on. And now everything is conversational. I don't think that it's just conversational, but everything has a conversational capability. It's just a matter of fact. It is the new dawn. It is here. This is what it is, right? And all the ERP vendors, the CRM vendors and so on, they have to embrace that fast, because like Amazon created a expectation in all our heads how fast something has to be delivered to us at home. This is now touching as well how we think interaction with technology should be. We were so heavily influenced by the rise of the smartphone, and now we are so heavily influenced by rise of the public smart chatbot, I want to say. So everything has to be conversational. I can't imagine that anybody is in 2 years from now still clicking the filters together in a web shop or something. I can't imagine that. It has to be more intuitive. And that's a great thing, because use of technology will become more human. What not to love there? I don't think it's the big threat that the human is taking out of the equation. It is simply that we can be more human with how we use technology and don't have to do a PhD just to get a pair of sneakers ordered.
Yeah, I love that. And I think technology should be augmenting humans, not replacing them. And we were born with a voice, Martin, not with a keyboard in our hands. So that's this technology drive forward with everybody doing the most natural thing, which is speak to get things done, will be absolutely amazing. Martin, thank you so much for today. I love some of the key points that you were drawing out there in terms of business case and in terms of making something stick from the beginning, setting the program up right, working out the varieties of benefits you can get. And it's not just, as you said, cost savings, but there's risk and compliance. And on top of that, new business models and new money. But doing it right is always the case, doing it securely, proper plan and a proper team and a proper partner with, and I too am a fan of buying into a platform as opposed to manufacturing it yourself, because business models and businesses move so fast these days, there just isn't time to catch up. So Martin, thank you so much indeed for sharing all of those insights. What a fantastic podcast. And thank you everyone for listening into DRUID Talks today. We hope you enjoyed this, and we look forward to seeing and hearing from you on the very next DRUID Talks episode coming soon. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you, Kieran. Thanks for having me.